Newsflash, September 15th, 2020. This is 2020. You can't say that was Babs. You can't charge me royalties for that. Hugh Downs, how you've gotten younger and longer hair. Welcome to Chat with the Docs for the week of September 15th, 2020. My name is Mo Wolf. I'm the acupuncturist here at the Siloam Center for Traditional Medicine in Janesburg, Wisconsin. Don't bother Googling that because you're not going to find it. It's actually Janesville, but it's more fun to say Janesburg.
And I'm Dr. Noel, the Chiro here.
Ooh, we're shortening it.
Yeah.
Is that hyphenated?
The Chiro here?
What kind of punctuation would you add to Chiro?
What kind of punctuation? Just like a little apostrophe.
Ooh. So we're not talking Cairo as in, turban Cairo, Egypt Cairo, but
we're not talking about
Cairo as in
I don't know history.
Someone that will crack your neck while wearing buffalo plaid and tight jeans.
Have I done that lately?
Not that I've seen, but
okay.
But
just making sure. I was just like, I don't even know if I brought the buffalo plaid out yet. Did start bringing the jeans out though.
Yes, you did, and I'm proud of you. Now you just need a good pair of boots to go with it.
Yeah, I just got to bring them in.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Maybe next week I'll wear the buffalo plaid. I'll have to remember.
If you come in wearing buffalo plaid
jeans and boots
and skinny jeans, don't wear the boots. Wear your Chuck Taylors, and then you'll fit the role of a hipster chiropractor. And the rest of us will all go,
yeah,
we don't know her. The Chiro with an apostrophe.
Only if I can be sipping on a craft beer. I think then it'll be
a pumpkin spice latte.
Beer. In that flavor. Then it would be hipster.
Ooh, yes, that would be. That's nauseating to think about.
Pumpkin spice latte Pilsner.
Sometimes I just don't know you.
that would be it. It won't happen. I know that.
Alas, I'm speechless. I don't even know where to go with that one. It's just overwhelming.
We did have some questions though, right?
Well, we did have some questions. But before we get to the offline questions, offline, in other words, nobody called in. These were questions that were sent to us via Facebook, our email, and it's etc. So before we get there, it's September. It's mid-September. It's smack dab in the middle of September. Literally. Now, normally if someone says, it's literally this, then you kind of go, oh boy. But no, it's noon on September the 15th. Okay, so we're not smack dab in the middle.
Pretty close.
I was thinking September had 31 days, but alas, I'm wrong. 30 days has September, April, May? Yeah, it's only 30 days.
Wake me up when September ends.
Wake me up when 2020 ends. We should have known that this was going to be like this. I mean, every day or every time when we turn on 2020 back in the 80s, and you'd have Barbara Walters with that goofy hair saying, this is 2020. We should have said, that's prophetic. I'm sleeping through that year. But no, we had to just march right in. Anyway, if you have questions for us and you want to, circumvent the offline questions, you're more than welcome to. Give us a call, 608-314-8791. Look us up on the web, www.siloamcenter.com or www.janesvilleacupuncture.com. It'll take you to Siloam Center. So in either case, that way you can look up the phone number if I don't say it enough. 608-314-8791. This time of year, we were just talking about this before we unmuted the microphones. We never know with YouTube. We never know if they're going to let us on the air. So we tried early this time so we wouldn't be late.
Right.
But we were talking, and you asked me what are some things that I see changing this time of year
with the seasons.
And I said what?
You said thyroid.
Thyroid. I see a lot of people starting to go hypothyroid this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not often that much, but you don't need much of a change in thyroid to create some
off.
very large symptoms. People start losing their hair this time of year.
Yeah.
More than my dad losing his hair. Dad, it's gone. The sooner you acknowledge and embrace the reality that it's gone. Never mind. Anyway.
You're such a good son.
I am. This is the man who mentored me and took me under his wing my whole life. Referred to me as that tapeworm with hair. Get over here. No. Nope. It was mom watching, not dad. She's still on.
She's laughing too.
Actually, she's up visiting her sister today up in Appleton.
Oh, nice.
So, to get back to what was I talking about?
What changes?
Oh,
and
yes.
I said like the circadian rhythms change. The days are getting shorter. We can tell. Cooler.
So people start seeing these symptoms of hypothyroid, fatigue, hair loss, maybe a little jittery. And so then they're feeling off and they go into their GP and their GP says, well, that sounds like thyroid. Duh. And then the GP does a blood test. But what do they check? At least in this town.
TSH.
TSH.
Thyroid stimulating hormone.
Which is the wrong thing to check this time of year.
You also have T3 and T4 hormones.
You want somebody that's going to check your free T3 and your free T4. Because by itself, TSH tells you nothing. It tells you nothing. Not a zip zero. Stress can change your TSH.
Mm-hmm.
Change in diet can cause a change in TSH. Change in season and weather can cause a TSH change. So
it's very variable.
It's very very very
variable.
That's why you have an apostrophe in your craft.
As dubbed by myself.
Wow.
You can just make things up now.
So could I call myself an EQ?
Yeah, you could.
No, I'm not
I've seen
going
it.
to.
I've seen it that way. ACU.
It always bothered me that the letters at the end of an acupuncturist in Wisconsin, because we can only call ourselves licensed acupuncturist. We're not in this state. We're not doctor of or anything like that. It's licensed acupuncturist. So it reads LAC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, LAC.
And you think
I don't ever read it that
every
way.
time every time I write that, I always think, yeah, it's the state of Wisconsin.
Mine's DC. I still think direct current when I do it with mine. It's like...
You tell us all that we want to know about the throat movements. If she shows up with alligator clamps, you be wary. By the way, a tow truck guy walked into a bar because he got a call that somebody needed a tow, a jump rather. He had the cables over his shoulders, and he walks in, and before he can say anything, the bartender says, "Hey, you just walked in there, man. You with the jumper cables. Don't you start nothing in here." So anyway, that was a good joke.
You got a lot of voices, I gotta say. You got a lot of a lot of different ones.
Thank you. If any talent scouts are out there that would like to sign me in case for some reason YouTube and the AMA ever come down on me, give me a call. By the way, we made it another week without any cease and desist letters. I'm really getting proud of this. This is a long streak.
It is.
No letters from any attorneys at large. No cease and desist letters. I did get a letter from my mother saying, please don't talk about being associated with our family in public. But, she sends me one of those about every quarter. Anyway.
Right on time.
I can't blame her. What's really irritating is when, the rest of the family's sending her cards to remind her.
Oh no.
So, our first question comes in from Alan, and it is, it was recommended that I exchange my mouse for a vertical mouse to help with my wrist and arm pain. Is this something I should consider? You're the structural guru. I'm going to let you take that. Number one, I mean, this is a mouse. We're talking an electronic mouse, not the little rodent that spreads hantavirus. Oh, they're so cute. Anyway, you've got it on your desk, and you're like this all day long.
Yeah. So like with your setup that you have right now, just as an example.
Don't judge me.
I am. That it's a little bit too high for where the chair is right now. Because if you were to face that keyboard, your shoulders are going to come up because it's up that high. So you can switch to a vertical mouse, which has that little scroll.
A vertical mouse, instead of being like this,
it's got that ball on it.
It's more of like a joystick kind of configuration. It's got a ball that your thumb moves.
Yeah, I've seen that more for engineering, and that I think with drafting on the computer that they'll do that more. But it's not, it's not just the symptom of what you're noticing with issues going on with just the mouse, but it's the overall setup. You need to have your desk set up that you're ergonomically in the right position, because even if you just switch your mouse from going like this to this, if you're up too high, it's going to still bother your shoulder regardless.
If you're up this high, then you need a two-handed mouse. No, nothing. YouTube's really going to be upset with us for that one.
The good thing would be, if either you can come into one of us and we can talk about it in your appointment. Otherwise, another thing, if you just need to get started on the right track, Google proper ergonomics or ergonomic desk setup, and then look under the images under the Google, and it will show you exactly how you should line your desk up. But you should be sitting neutral like this. Your shoulders shouldn't be way up, clicking, doing this with the mouse. It should all be pretty even and comfortable with that.
Now, this is something that is probably just not Mr. Allen here. It's probably a very common problem.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's at home. So what are they doing? They're set up like this.
Yep,
they're set up. They're set up on my old kitchen table here. Set up like this, and it's an uncomfortable setup.
There's been a lot since people have been transitioning to work at home. The more neck, shoulder, into the elbow, into the wrist, because it is different from what they had at work.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately it's going to continue to get worse. You're going to have more and more people with these workplace ergonomic issues until they can get back to their desks, because their desks at their office are set up more to that neutral position.
Yep.
They've got better chairs. I mean, these chairs, I really need to.
It's meant for dining. They're not
put
meant
these
for work
out
all day.
to pasture. Alas, I'm cheap.
Because this goes with the table, right?
These came with the table.
So they're not meant for, the lumbar support to be working all day.
But that's what people are using.
Yep.
Chairs. Most people are pragmatists. They're going to use what's available.
Definitely.
So, yeah, you can go ahead and get that vertical mouse. It's probably going to be comfortable. There'll be a learning curve trying to get used to it. But keep in mind, that's only half the problem.
Yeah. You're still going to have this. It's not going to all of a sudden, everything's going to get better. It looks really cool, though.
Yeah, you look like a boss. Question. Did we answer that?
Yeah, it's not just the mouse, it's the overall picture.
But
yeah, contact us because we can help you get set up with proper desk ergonomics too, to explain it, go over it.
Oh. Somebody from Woodford, Wisconsin left a voicemail with a question.
Okay.
They've been trying to reach me about my car's warranty. It's not a question. Never mind. Whee! Bet you didn't see that one coming. My son actually got a call. I don't know
when you were on vacation.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a bicycle, you said.
So we have another question, and this one comes from Stacy. Stacy wrote in and says, I hear a lot about the keto diet. Is that something I should look into for weight loss?
You go first.
Can
Mom.
I? Can I?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. Do you remember back when everything that was gluten-free tasted like dirty socks?
Yes. Early
Because the
2000s.
industry hadn't yet said, ooh, there's money to be made there. Right?
Mhm.
And
Before it was a thing and it was actually seen.
Right. Before the guys in the buffalo plaid shirts and the tight jeans. Yeah. And the little beanies. Before they got involved, and before the natural products industries realized they could make a mint on this, there wasn't that much out there. And so eating gluten-free was actually a very clean way to eat.
Yep. Meat,
Okay.
potatoes, vegetables.
7 to 10 years ago, when only elite athletes were aware of this thing called keto, I remember hearing about it from a friend of mine in med school who was an ultra runner. Ultra runner basically means they're insane. Instead of running a 5K, no, these bless their hearts, these guys will run 100 miles, 120 miles in a race without stops. There's something wrong. Anyway, that's what this guy was. And there was this undercurrent of conversation within that ultra runner group where they would do this thing called eating keto. And I asked him about that. And he says, well, you're limiting your carb intake, you're managing your protein intake, and you're increasing your clean, good fat intake.
That's the key there.
Ooh, very interesting. So what happens? Enter the natural products industry. Now I'm going to be kicked out of that group. Anyway, suddenly everybody's coming out with these keto products. And you look at the ingredients on bacon fat bombs. Suet rolled bacon fat bombs with avocado sprigs. Anyway, these guys, you look at the ingredient list on some of these things, and where the ingredient list should only be 3 to 5 ingredients, they've got, it looks like a Twinkie, but it's keto. No.
Not clean, good fat.
It's not clean. It's not good. This stuff is now becoming highly processed. I had this conversation with a college athlete about 2 weeks ago, trying to get him to clean up his diet. And we were talking about foods that he should eat. And he's sending me text messages with pictures of, is this type of jerky good? And it's Jack Links, and you look at it and it's nitrates.
Yeah.
No, man, you're missing it. You want unprocessed. So for a keto diet, typically you go on YouTube and you'll see all these guys, I pump you up. And their arms look like turtles doing push-ups. And they look like they do pull-ups with their earlobes, which would be a really interesting feat. You should try it. Don't look at me. You're judging me again. You look on YouTube at keto diet, and you will see all of these recipes, all of this garbage telling you how to eat keto. When I was really training jiu-jitsu very seriously, I was eating predominantly a keto diet. I was limiting myself to around 45 grams of carbs a day. Usually that was in the form of rice because we're a Filipino family. I'm Jewish. My wife is Filipino, which means that our kids are Filipinos, which means they will be late for everything they ever go to. But we have rice at least 3 meals a day. When you're eating keto, you can't eat rice.
Yeah, you
So
probably hit over that. What is it? 25 grams, whatever it is.
I had figured it out how much rice was about 45 grams of carbs, and I would eat that at the meal with the family. Otherwise, I was eating lean red meats, trying to eat organ meat whenever I could, because organ meat has a lot more nutrients to it. Lots of green leafy vegetables, dark green leafy vegetables. Iceberg lettuce does not count. Is iceberg
Spinach,
lettuce
no.
good for anything other than just growing mold?
I would say gas. That's about it. It's good for that.
Gas and mold. And there's a fine line between the two. Anyway, what I was trying to do was make sure that I was getting good, clean, organic green leafy vegetables, dark green leafy vegetables.
Kale, spinach, and the like.
Kale, spinach, and the like. Mustard greens, collard greens, things like that. And for a lot of the time, I would either stir fry it or steam it a little bit. So it's easier to digest, because newsflash, we weren't made to eat raw food. We don't have the teeth. We don't have the extra stomach for it. We were designed to eat foods that are cooked. I know all of you that said that we evolved from a piece of algae that got zapped by lightning. Well, you're wrong.
This is the wrong channel for you.
Go Google keto on YouTube. We were designed to eat cooked foods. A salad is nice once in a while, but you don't want to live on it. You'll end up with dumping syndrome. But I would try to eat these cleaner foods. My overall fat levels in my body were coming down, but I was also doing a huge amount of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I was eating good, clean fats, and I was eating more of those than I normally would. But I was also doing huge amounts of exercise. And I'm not talking going for walking a couple miles. I'm talking about doing full body, very high intensity for 3 to 6 hours, a couple times a week, workouts.
You needed that fuel.
I needed that fuel. And then I needed that fuel to help recover afterwards. Lots of raw bee pollen, lots of this other stuff. So I was eating anything processed? No, I was not eating anything processed. I was eating clean.
Bee pollen, what does that break down to? Is that considered a carb, or what is that considered?
It's got some carbs in it, but they're very complex.
Okay.
Pound for pound, it's got more protein in it than beef steak, than hard-boiled eggs, but without the fats. The carbs that are in there are very complex. But what's helpful with the raw bee pollen is you get all of the nutrients, the vitamins and minerals that you need, including the aminos. It's got all of the amino acids that you need. It's a whole raw food. You can live on it for extended periods of time. I've done it for a month at a time. I think I did it for 2 months at one point. That and water, you can live on it. It's not that fun. You're not the life of the party. People look at you and say, he's a stick in the mud. Well, they do that anyway. But the idea with keto, if you're going to make it a success, number one, don't buy keto products. Mm. Number two, don't think that you can replace a meal with pork rinds.
That's going to be a gallbladder attack.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you mean there's consequences for eating the wrong kinds of things? Yes, there are. Just because you're eating keto doesn't mean it's safe. If you do it the wrong way, you'll mess up your gallbladder, you'll mess up your digestion, you'll cause an increase in cholesterol, which cholesterol isn't necessarily a marker of heart disease. The newer studies that have come out in the last 5 years have all shown, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. The third-party independent studies that have been published in the last 5 years have come out saying cholesterol doesn't necessarily have anything to do with heart disease. Now, the studies that Lipitor and the other guys put out, of course.
But
That's another show.
But would I be more worried if I'm eating McDonald's every day, or if I'm eating chicken breast every day that I prepared on the grill?
You want something clean.
Don't do dirty keto.
Whether you're doing keto or not, you want to stay away from what? Added sugars.
Mm-hmm.
You want to stay away from anything processed.
Yeah.
Oh, Wonder Bread. You look at the ads from the 50s for Wonder Bread, they're hilarious. They make you a little bit nauseated, but they're hilarious. They talk about how it's the most wonderful thing and so good for you.
They used to say that about
all of these enriched nutrients. Just because science makes a declaration one day does not mean that it's right.
It's true.
We're on keto, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's an ADD day. Yeah.
Eat clean. Don't eat.
Whether you're doing keto or not,
Yeah.
eat clean. Solomon, the second wisest man to ever walk the face of the earth. First wisest being Messiah. Well, we just lost. No, we actually have 4 of them. Wow. Second wisest guy to walk the face of the earth. What was his statement? Moderation in all things. Don't go after the sour cream coated lard drop bacon bombs. They're going to kill you. Whether you're exercising or not, your gallbladder will hate you for it. I hate you so much. You're killing me. By the way, never mind. Did you know your gallbladder sounds an awful lot like Peter Lorre?
Yours does.
Think of an inflamed gallbladder, what that would look like with a face, and you will see Peter Lorre. Anyway, on to the next question. I think we answered that. Did we answer that?
Keep the gallbladder happy.
Keep the gallbladder happy. Eat clean. Eat unprocessed. Use moderation. In your keto, do between 45 and 65 grams of carbs a day. Clean carbs.
And you'll be doing okay.
And you'll be doing all right. But it's only going to really benefit you if you're moving your body.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not moving your body and you're just dieting, good luck with that.
You need to get that metabolism up. The heart needs to be pumping. Otherwise, if you're just sitting and it's going, you're not going to burn anything.
Do that again. That's the picture of apathy. Keep doing it. Atrial fibrillation right there. Very slow atrial fibrillation. Okay.
That's sitting on the couch.
Now here's one for you. And I think you're going to particularly love the language in which it's written. No, it's not written in Gaelic. It's not even written in Tagalog. I told you I was Jew-Filipino fan. It says, and the only thing that this is missing, it's got to be from someone in Jersey. The only thing this statement is missing is the word yo. So I'm going to put yo in there because I think you missed it. Yo, if I come in for Cairo, no apostrophe on that one, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yo, if I come in for Cairo, this is a hipster. Is Dr. Noel going to just crack my neck or what?
Or what?
That's you. It's in the list. That's for you. I'm staying out of this one. I wish I had a straw.
Well, for me to be able to just crack your neck or what?
Depends. How annoying are you?
That's a good start. I'll need some information from you. We're going to talk about things. Hopefully you're going to fill out your paperwork, or I'll make you anyways.
Yo.
And if you're lucky and everything goes well, I will adjust your neck if there's a problem there. Will I crack it? I don't like that term. There's no crack here.
You don't have any certifications in advanced interrogation techniques, do you?
I'm not an interrogator. I usually don't even waste that much time to get that far. So.
Wrong union card. Yo, Adrian.
Adrian Monk?
We got to clear up this
Rocky.
misconception. Kairos apostrophe. Does apostrophe come before or after
I don't
Cairo?
know. I made it up today.
Depends if
I
there's
just leave it
buffalo
correct, though.
plaid and tight skinny jeans or just buffalo
There's
plaid.
probably a comma and then some other things in
I
there.
wish we
too.
could fit a hyphen in there. Listen, if your chiropractor just says, yeah, come on in, we'll crack it, something's dreadfully wrong. The reason this lady is part of this clinic is because she takes the time to investigate, to find out what needs to be done. She takes the time to get a medical history, to do a physical examination, to determine what the best course would be. Sometimes it's a little adjustment. Sometimes it's the chiropractor's pogo stick, the little chiropractor's pogo stick. Sometimes, she's doing muscle releases. Sometimes she's got a lot of different things that she does. You don't want somebody that just says, come on in, I'll crack. No, you want somebody that has studied, that is disciplined, that knows what track to use.
Based on your history, what you have going on.
Based on you.
Yep.
Right now,
Individualized.
when you're showing up, does that mean that the same technique's going to be used each time? Nope. Yo, Adrian.
You really like the Jersey Italians.
That's
today.
the only way I can read this. If I come in for Cairo, is Dr. Noel going to just crack my neck or what?
If Rocky comes in, though, definitely I'll crack his neck.
If Rocky comes in, I'm running. I've spent a lifetime making fun of Rocky movies.
Rocky can handle it.
Yo, Rock. I'm just
I already know what's going on from all those movies.
When I was a kid, we had some buddies that went to high school with my older brother. This was in Montana, the Bitterroot Valley. And their brother was teaching at Corvallis High School, where my brother went. And their names were Joey and Johnny Garcias. And they were twins. And they were from Zapata, Texas.
Okay.
They were the coolest guys going. We loved them. And we used to hang out, and we would go over to their brother's house where they were living, and once a week we'd watch a movie. And it was always a Rocky movie. And I would sit there and I'd think, oh, get to the fight scenes. I just can't handle Sylvester Stallone. Now, that said, if a short little Italian comes in here and says, I'm running. Hey, maybe this was Sylvester. It was unnamed. Yo.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be an awesome day.
Yo, Sylvester, if you ever in the Midwest, come on up to Janesville and Dr. Noel's going to crack your neck. I'll put some needles in you if you want. She promised not to beat me and punch in my face, You haven't lived until you've taken a foot to the face.
I don't think I need to live that much.
And you see the stars and you have that gasp and you think, is my nose broke? Never mind.
So you probably have with your jiu-jitsu.
In jiu-jitsu, it wasn't so much feet to the face as you'd take a knee to the face and you'd be all tied up and someone would move their knee real fast and it'd go. I did break my nose once that way. But no, it was Krav Maga sparring that would get a foot to the face.
I'll pass.
I can understand that. Yo, if I come in, would you crack my neck? Anyway, for just a moment, we were up to 5. Mom must have called her sister. Anyway, next question. Next question comes from Ronaldus Magnus. No, I did not mean Ronald Reagan. He is the Ronaldus Maximus. This is Ronaldus Maximus.
Okay.
Ron, the guy that was in studio 2 weeks ago that we did an assessment on. Mm-hmm. He asks, why does a liver get clogged? Now, number one, Those of you who are thinking Irish folk dancing, that's not what we're talking about. Your liver does not put on little shoes and go doing river dance. Can't believe we had to go there.
Well,
we put apostrophes on Cairo and we've gone to clogging livers.
Well, keto probably would too. Dirty keto probably would too.
Average keto would do it. Yeah.
Don't eat like garbage.
So what clogs the liver and how do you unclog it? Ronaldus Maximus, I'm so glad you asked that. That's your new name now. Didn't know you had a Latin name. Well, we had to learn a little Latin in med school. Did you?
A little bit, yeah.
See? We had to learn Latin and Mandarin.
I didn't learn that one.
You're not missing anything. So the question is, what causes a liver to be clogged? You immediately touched on it.
Don't eat bad things. The liver is the filter of the body.
80% of your toxins come out your liver.
So if you're putting lots of toxins in, kind of like a filter of a car, you put bad oil in, it's going to catch a lot. And unlike an oil filter, you can't just change it out.
So it's you can be thinking you're eating clean food, but it might have sprays on it. It might have glyphosates in it. It might have hormones in it. It might have water in the cells that's full of glyphosate because even though the plants were raised organically, there might be glyphosates in the water table, and so now they're pumping that up and spraying it on the organic crops, and that glyphosate in the water now gets into the cells and is part of the cytoplasm.
Or if they're crop dusting over your house and you go outside to check it out and get some spray in your mouth, they'll probably do it. You
know a turkey can drown in the rain?
Yep. It's if they're young, isn't it? They don't have that skin over their nose.
You know how many times my mom and dad had to go out in the rain and grab my older brother and do rescue breathing for him and resuscitation because he was drowning?
Hey, you know what? I've done that though with them crop dusting, and it's not like just underneath the plane. It was like the plane was over
drifts.
the plane was like over by the railroad tracks, and it wasn't right away. It was the whoosh, and then it goes in your mouth, and then 10 years of your life disappear.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yes. So you can be thinking you're eating cleanly, but unless you're doing some investigation, you're probably not. You eat as best as you can, but there's always going to be some toxins in our diet because we're in the developed world. Thank God we're not in the developing world because the toxins would be much higher, but we're in the developed world. And so we're in an environment that's been polluted.
And the soil's depleted.
And the soil's depleted. The other aspect is we're in the developed world. There's lots of stress. Stress causes this incredible reaction in the liver where the liver goes, just like that too. Doesn't go clogging, but it goes, oh, I hate my life. That's what your liver does. And when it contracts, all of the lymph... Don't look, you're judging me again.
I'm just thinking, please don't do that when it's dark. Because I might not come back.
Well, it's my Hillary impersonation. Nope, no one left yet. You guys are good sports. The liver, stress will cause those liver lymphatics to contract, and so then it's not going to drain properly. Also, what does the liver do? The liver drains to what? The small bowel through the liver bile duct. Stress, poor results of a poor diet, injury, chronic infection.
If your gallbladder's not working, the liver's going to pick up for it.
A sassy gallbladder. No, I refuse to work. Actually, no, we said he was more of the Peter Lorre. I'm sorry, I cannot work today. So, a little too much anthropomorphism. I'm sorry.
Just saying, we're keeping the lights
on. And your
on
spleen
all
said,
the time.
red rum. Nope, haven't lost anyone yet.
Oh, they're invested now. They're highly invested.
You have now wasted 45 minutes. There's only 15 more to go. You can do it. So the stress, the results of pollution in our food and in our environment, because, you're not just taking this stuff in through your food, you're breathing it in.
Skin's
You're absorbing it through your skin. No, you're not a frog. At least some of you might not be. Hey, we have a broad and diverse
Remember
audience.
when we came in this morning and you're like, man, I'm just not feeling the personality today. I think,
I had Carrie go out to Woodman's and pick one up
I
for
was
me.
gonna say, I don't know if it's the
She slipped
dandelion
it to me
tea,
just before I...
the dandelion tea, the coffee. I don't know. It's working though.
Woohoo! I'm innocent, I tell you. It wasn't me. That's what your gallbladder's saying. It's really the liver. It's constrained.
It is though.
Sorry, the
You got water behind you.
The Peter Lorre impersonation is triggering asthma. But these things all work against you, and they cause the liver lymphatics to shut down, so the liver can't drain out. Or the liver lymphatics might be starting to work, they working marginally, but that liver bile duct is constrained and even blocked by maybe parasites, or maybe there's some stones from the gallbladder that are blocking the common bile duct.
That can hurt.
Oh, it's excruciating. But it can also be asymptomatic until the pancreas starts backing up, in which case you end up with acute pancreatitis.
That's bad.
And that's miserable. And then you got some problems. And you actually see a few of those a year, more than you would expect.
Well, look at our diets for some of it,
Yeah.
Modern diet. Do you think, I know this is like a whole nother can of worms, but if you can't get all these lymphatics open and draining how they can, so you're holding on to all these toxins and they're just sitting stagnant, do you think that has a lot to do with different cancers that you're seeing in some of these organs?
I have no doubt.
Because, you hear pancreatic cancer, and that's pretty much, that's bad.
In Chinese medicine, cancer is toxic heat from stagnation. Things stagnate. Think of it. You take oily rags and you put them in a pile under your staircase. What's going to happen? Eventually, they're going to combust. It's the same thing with stagnation in the body. You leave it there long enough, eventually it'll combust and become toxic heat, cancer. Mm-hmm. So how do we then get that liver moving? Well, you say, hey, you liver. Yo, liver, you go to Cairo and you get your neck. There's a number of ways to do it. Number one, I was part of when I was interning with Dr. David Chow down in Chicago. We were doing some research, and we found where you could take somebody who had fatty liver diagnosis. Fatty liver.
That's common.
Very common. Elevated AST and ALT. And you put them on a very strict acupuncture regimen and adjust their diet. And you do that for 2 weeks. And you retake the blood work and it's gone. So you can adjust, you can take the heat out of the liver, that inflammation out of the liver, just with acupuncture.
That's pretty cool.
Often with my patients who are very attuned to their body and know when their liver isn't draining properly, I can put the right acupuncture treatment in based on what their pulse is telling me. And they will say, oh, I can feel it opening up. And you can hear their gut start to gurgle, 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 and things are working again. But where chronic constraint is involved, sounds like it should have been a Crosby, Stills, and Nash song.
Then you have a little bit more work to do because you don't want it to all drain if it can't go anywhere.
Right. Then we need to start introducing some Chinese herbs and some supplements.
Opening up that duct.
There's this wonderful substance called TUDCA, which is an acronym for a really long word. It's literally this long. It's a very long word, and it's an enzyme found in bovine gallbladders.
Move.
Hey, we study these things. We're people of science.
Yeah.
We look into gallbladders.
That's common. You see that in different supplements.
It's everywhere, I tell you.
Like I know there was some supplements from Standard Process too. Like any kind of thing that helps like
Mhm.
enzymatic breaking down. Like that's common to see bovine.
It's common to see it from a bovine source, but the TUDCA is a enzyme from bovine gallbladders, and TUDCA will cause that liver bile duct to dilate, so now things can drain properly, and it does a fairly good job with the liver lymphatics to dilate. Sometimes, though, it needs some help. Enter in Chinese herbs. If the liver is inflamed and you've got a lot of anger and the person's got a lot of temper, real fiery temper involved.
Me?
Yeah, I don't see you as...
That's the ongoing thing for the show, though. Poor John.
John, you're a saint. So when you've got the Dr. Noel, you'll crack my neck syndrome going on, then we would add something called Jai Wei Xiaoyaosang. Or if you're in Beijing, Jai Wei Xiaoyaosang, the Beijing lockjaw, kind of like Boise lockjaw, just a little bit different, a couple thousand miles. I'm so sorry. Just a few more minutes. Hang with us. That Jai Wei Xiaoyaosang is for clearing liver fire. It moves the liver lymphatics, but it also clears that inflammation out of there. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's more of depressive type behavior, if it's more just not that real agitated sense of anxiety and anger, if it's more of a depressive, or if it's just the TUDCA is just not cutting it, I just don't feel right, and I feel pressure here, and I don't feel well, and Peter Lorre saying, hey, remember me down here, then you use just the plain old everyday Xiaoyaosang.
Okay.
Xiaoyaosang is not something that you necessarily need to have a license to get. You can pick it up on Amazon. You're not going to get a very good quality, but you can pick it up.
Just get the good stuff.
Listen to her. Yo, dog, listen to her. It's best if you can have someone. Ever since that.
That's the thing on Amazon. You don't always know what you're getting. If you go to a practitioner, you can trust it.
Right, because we've done the homework to find out, is this stuff legit? Is it even clean? Is it safe?
Mm-hmm. You could be getting something that says, say it one more time for me, because I don't want to butcher it.
You'll say what?
Xiaoyaosang.
Xiaoyaosang.
I'm not even going to try it because I know I can hear you say it, but it's not going to come out the same. You could end up with you could have that label on the bottle, but it could be full of milk thistle, and you think it's doing something, and it technically is, but it's not what you think you're getting.
Or it could be from mainland China, and it could be full of radioactive isotopes. It could be full of, CNC lubricating machine.
It could be anything.
Oil. It could be anything in there because, let's face it, China's been busted for all of that.
I would just go for something that what you're getting.
It'd be best to talk to a practitioner that knows what they're doing to walk you through this process. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a lot of that leads us into a whole other can of worms. There's a lot of diets out there. There's a lot of detox protocols that are out there. There's a lot of everybody's selling something.
Mm-hmm. Collagen's a big one right now.
Here's the thing. Some of it might be good, mm-hmm. but if it's going to be useful, it needs to be managed correctly.
Yes.
Otherwise, some of the stuff could even be dangerous. So it's good to get the opinion of somebody that knows or can at least understand the chemistry, look at it and say, I think we need to back away. Mm-hmm. Or, you know what, this is okay, but we need to modify it.
Yeah, there's stuff out all the time. I see collagen stuff all the time, but it doesn't mean you're getting good quality.
Yeah.
They make a lot of good promises, but are they actually
Well,
going to deliver?
Collagen. Remember the old days? Your mother used to say, if you want to have pretty hair and strong nails, eat your Jello.
Yep.
Collagen. You mean Jello is a collagen supplement? Uh-huh. They don't bill it that way, but somebody else might. Is that what you want to put in your body? Now Kraft is going to send us a cease and desist letter to the makers of Kraft food. Send it to us on send us the cease and desist letter. It's Kraft. We can go for it, right? Send us a cease and desist letter sealed in the glove box of, let's have some fun, a 1957 Mercedes Gullwing.
I'll tell you a funny story too with Jello.
All right. Should I get some Jello or? Oh, it's about Jello. Okay.
Yeah. So, because I'm young. I'm a youngin'. So while we were in college, we had this one friend that she was a vegetarian, but they, were going to school in Madison, so they lived that Madison life. So
Buffalo plaid and skinny jeans.
Yes. So they had, our non-vegetarian friends had convinced our vegetarian friend that they had gotten horseshoe-free Jello for the Jello shots.
Aha.
And it was not. She was very convinced that it was vegetarian Jello, which I do not know if there's such a thing. So
You had one.
be nice to your friends.
You had one sick little drunken vegetarian.
That was very deceived, and I was not the deceiver of it.
Her liver might have sounded like Peter Lorre. Oh, that's terrible. We made it through all of our offline questions, and what we found is most of you end up watching this offline.
Yeah.
So if you have questions for us, feel free to email us info@siloamcenter.com, info@siloamcenter. During the show, you can call in at 608-314-8791. You can also leave a comment with your question under the video on YouTube, or leave a comment on Facebook at Siloam Center for Traditional and Integrative Medicine. So, you had your vacation.
Yes.
You got it out of you.
What did I get out?
Speaking of getting out, when are you going to start your detox protocol? Huh?
When I'm ready.
Long silence. The crickets are singing. Ricky, Ricky, Ricky. But those aren't the only bugs that are singing.
There's a song out there by Jason Aldean says, "I ain't ready to quit." And I'm there right now.
Are you feeling codependent with your parasites?
You know what? Sometimes that's the only friends you got.
And here's where we insert Jerry Lewis singing with tears streaming down his face, "You'll never walk alone." Once again, you've wasted a perfectly good hour with us, and I commend you for it. I question your judgment, but I commend you for it.
It was fun, guys.
Thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure. Again, if you have any questions for us outside of the show, email it to us, info@Siloam Center. Comment on the YouTube video, comment on the Facebook size. Make sure you're liking and subscribing and what's up?
Like, share, and subscribe.
Do that social media thing. Will eventually allow us to produce more of these videos and maybe even better quality videos, which I know you're all hungering and thirsting for. Maybe not. But maybe when we, can produce a better quality video, then maybe we could convince someone like, no, Sylvester Stallone to come on the show.
That'd be pretty cool.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
I don't know.
Anyway, Mr. Stallone, you can just have your attorney send us a cease and desist letter on the back of a $20 bill.
Hey,
That's fine.
We're talking well. We're just dreaming.
So thank you for watching, and shalom.
Bye, guys.